Welcome to Finding Monster Right, show about finding monsters, right?
Man. 17 years underground will give you such a crick in the neck.
I'm Adam.
I'm Allie. And we have a guest with us today.
They've been in the ground for 17 years alongside you. No, 13 years, and you guys are crossing paths for the first time.
Is that how long it is?
Yeah, time flies when you're underground and asleep. It's John.
I don't know anything about bugs.
It's John. It's Kinchtheknifeblade. It's a figure of SCP legend and
Not really.
and fame and fortune.
C tier.
Now you are of course broadcasting from your mansion, which is made entirely out of living tigers made of solid gold, right?
Yeah, I have a goosebump pillow.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, isn't it?
That's how you know you made it.
That's worth a golden tiger house, I think. Anyway.
From when I was 7 years old, I still stubbornly use it.
Oh, I have a lot of shit like that just lying around my room.
Well, I think faced with this information, we're all in for a brood awakening. Could the Cicada God SCP be a BFF?
It's a good friend.
Yeah. Now, let's start with the basicest of basic information. So, Adam.
Yeah.
You, before I pitched this, I believe one of our mutual friends in the Discord kind of introduced us to John.
Mm-hmm.
Before I was like, oh, hey, this could be cool. You hadn't heard of SCPs somehow.
I had not.
Nerd.
my interest had not been secured, contained, or protected.
Bravo. Yeah, I don't know how you missed that one. That was like a whole part of like the creepypasta kind of scene. And John is a more active contributor, obviously, could probably know more than me. But in my mind, it was kind of like a reaction to the creepypasta of like the early 2010s. Does that sound right?
Yeah, sort of.
The creepypastas were the ghosts being loosed in New York City, and the SCP Foundation wiki became the Ghostbusters.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Ghostbusters. I always describe it as like the X-Files, sort of.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the basis of comparison I use. It's not very good, but like it works. Like I describe it as being able to read like the files of like a really well-funded X-Files.
Yeah, and like I say it like it's like they're just gonna go around catching creepypastas like Jack the Killer. That's not how it does. It doesn't do like that. It's more of a like means of writing creepypastas almost.
But sometimes it is though.
Yeah. Sometimes they just go out and try and catch Jeff the Killer. Yeah, exactly.
Jeff the Killer is the best. There's a lot of fun stuff with that. There's a lot of creepypasta articles. There's actually also a lot of like non-horror and stuff like that, surprisingly. That's actually what I'm mostly known for.
Is the non-horror.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I made Gamers Against Weed.
Gamers Against Weed is very good. It's the most Zoomer-coded SCP I've ever heard of.
Yeah, they're fun. Yeah, that's what mostly I'm known for, is doing that and being very argumentative on the forums all the time.
It's forums. That's what they're for.
And being described as bristly.
Like a pig.
They're for people to shout at different people.
Horrible. I feel like I want your audience to know the kind of SCP writer I am. So I want to tell you the very first year I entered the SCP annual Christmas exchange, which like sounds wonderful, and it is.
Ooh.
Every year I've been in it, besides the first one, you are usually paired up with somebody who like you can feasibly do something for.
Mm-hmm.
I got this dude who like wanted only like realistic military fic. And like I absolutely could not do that. So like I ended up like trying to do something cutesy with like this militarization of like this SCP he wrote about like fairies killing birds or vice versa or something. And he never posted like he got the Christmas gift and he just didn't post on the wiki for a full year.
Oh no.
After he got my gift. Isn't that funny?
It's a little bit funny, but like
It's like ordering a taco from Wendy's. A little bit.
He was just done at the site after he got my gift.
I'm just trying to wrap my head around like the fairies killing birds as like a realistic military.
It's actually it wasn't my best, but you can figure out if any eagle-eyed readers would be able to figure this out. But there's an SCP about that bird that fucking kills animals on like barbed wire and shit.
Yeah, Shrike.
That bird. Thank you. It's like a couple Shrike learned how to do that to fairies, and it just looks like they like pick out nothing out of the air and just like kill the fairy. And the SCP ends with the fact that like the fairies have no idea why the fuck this is happening, and they're like trying to like grapple with the birds like they're gods. Like they're like trying to make shrines and offerings to these fucking birds who like do not know what that is and do not care. And so I wrote a story about like a son of like a fairy lord who was like, this is bullshit. We're going to kill the birds. We're going to kill the gods. And it ends with like them killing the last breeding pair that like knows how to do the trick, because like it's not like it's like an anomalous like a
gene.
No,
like...
it's just like a skill. It's like a thing that all Shrikes can learn how to do.
Yeah, like learning aerial ace or something like that.
Yeah.
That's awesome, though. Like, it's such a good idea for cosmic horror
It was a fun SCP, and I thought like it was a kind of a cute little workaround because I do not write anything that he wanted, and no, it was not a cute workaround. Nobody was happy with that. One of my friends was like, Kinch, are you honestly happy with this story? And I was like, oh, fuck.
Oh, God.
Well, there is some SCP work that you are known for that was well received.
I don't want to do any of those. We're only going to talk about things that people get mad at me for. That's the actual topic of the discussion.
I'm
kind of known for being a crazy person.
Using
you can't tell. You pardon me, I'm sorry.
Sweetie, welcome to my dark and twisted mind. It's called Finding Monster Right. Like, you're home. Welcome to Crazy People World. So, anyway, 10 minutes into the program, cicada. We haven't said the word cicada yet.
I have some other stuff to talk about.
Okay, save it for the next off-topic segment. Because you know what else has segments? Cicadas. Yeah. So, SCP...
I don't actually know that.
SCP...
We should start with Cousin Johnny, I think. If we do.
Okay, well...
Because I kind of... No, you can do whatever you want. You're the fucking host. But it's easier for me to talk about the one first. Because 3004 is just me having locked myself into the position of having to justify a lot of creepypasta stuff.
So,
and I think it's better to kind of illustrate, like if you want to see like the path of how the story worked, I guess that would be the best move.
Yes,
but it really doesn't matter.
Well, yeah, no,
great.
Yeah,
we'll use that as our segue in.
Your first name is John.
Oh yeah, and the Cousin Johnny is a picture of my dad.
Huh.
That's a picture I found in my basement. I asked him permission.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say, but
I actually originally was gonna have the little girl in the foreground of the picture, but I realized after I decided that they were going to eat the thing that would send the incorrect message about the kind of writing and vibe I was giving off. So I turned it into my dad.
I see. So the Cousin Johnny SCP, for someone who has never read it, describe kind of...
It's all right.
This concludes.
What if I just said that? And then I wouldn't say anything else. Yeah. It's basically an idea I had. I love the idea of gross religion stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I was kind of just playing with classic creepypasta ideas. So I came up with the idea of just like a family member that like doesn't fit and doesn't work and like just does evil shit connected to a religious ceremony of some kind. On its own, that works, but like, there's no. I think in horror, especially with SCP horror, there has to be like something where there's like almost an indiscernible logic. Like you don't understand it, but you know that there is something that does. And then like I added all the cicada stuff like last.
Well, okay.
Like real ham-fisted.
So, assuming that our listeners haven't read the don't know.
Oh yeah, I should say I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, SCP-2852. It's Cousin Johnny. It's this it's kind of a human shaped thing that appears at various always Catholic. I think I do say it's also involved with damn it. What the Church of England is in America?
Episcopalian.
Is it that?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Anglican Church or the Episcopalian in America.
Okay, I use Anglican. That's why I got confused.
Mm.
I like how Anglican sounds better.
Sure.
But like, because I always like to make the joke that they're like basically the same thing,
Mm.
because it's funny to me and me alone. But the idea is it's just like it's like a parasite on families and on their beliefs and ceremonies and stuff. It's this interloper that just ruins baptisms, marriages, and funerals.
And what's Cousin Johnny's appearance?
He looks like my dad, which basically I love the idea of the horror. The original Terminator was like supposed to just look like a nondescript sort of dude.
Mm-hmm.
And so like I really like the idea that Cousin Johnny is just like kind of like a stocky bearded guy.
Mm.
Just like a regular white guy. And like regardless of like your family's makeup, they're still gonna think he's part of the family, because I think that's funny.
It's kind of funny, yeah. So
I think it's funny for there to just be one form that like is just like kind of just kind of crammed into like the closest thing it can understand or like fit in.
So Cousin Johnny attends baptisms, weddings, and funerals, which are described, I believe, as blue type events, white type events, black type events.
The rule of three?
What does Cousin Johnny do at these events?
Oh man, dog, way too many things. I was just throwing it on, my friend. You can't ask me that. It's like the people are dying about cicadas. People are throwing up about it. There's a lot of skin comes off, I think, at one point. Okay, there's a part of the baptism one where I describe the top layer of skin of a child coming off, and everybody's always like, "How does the child live?" You guys knew what I meant, right? That like that like white kind of peel skin. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
And people are always like, "That's a dead baby." Like, fuck you, idiot. It's obviously. Sorry. Get a little angry. I get a little angry.
It's okay. We all create imaginary internet people to be mad at in our head.
No, actually these are real.
Yes, but then like
a lot of videos of this one, and they always like stop at that and they're like, "What an idiot. He didn't know what he was talking about." And it infuriates me. I read the comments of every reading of my SCP videos because I hate myself.
I too was raised Catholic.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
But basically it does like a lot of gross body horror, like that I was just kind of trying to like tie in as much as I could to this weird idea that this kind of outside force like is connecting Christianity and like wood and like cicadas. The wood stuff came out of nowhere, but like I really like that. Like the things always spitting up wood pulp. I think that's a great image. I don't know why I came up with that, but I'm a big fan.
Oh, wood is spooky.
What
is wrong and messed up? It's what humans turn nature into, and it's terrible and sharp, and no one likes spending too much time with it. So I get it.
A lot of 2852, like you can tell it's a dude's second SCP. Like, to be 100% honest. Like I was trying to be really clever at some points in ways that do not show. Like, okay, the idea of Cousin Johnny, like beside everything else, like strip it down. I thought it would be fun to talk about like an SCP that like challenges like kind of the implicit ideology of the Foundation. I view the Foundation as like incredibly conservative and focused on like the profligation of the family and like the family unit. So like I invented like this horrible family breaker.
Family breaker.
Yeah, wow.
Me.
But like I went too hard with that because I was like trying to show like, oh, the Foundation is terrified of this. So I have this part where they're like people affected by like SCP-2852 are more likely to join like leftist groups. And like a lot of people read that and they think, oh, the author is a crazy person. But like, no, I was trying to show that the Foundation is just flailing and just like looking at any small like tick off from the norm to just like pathologize and like focus on, and like that was notable enough that it freaked them out, but it didn't translate well. I thought I was too clever.
Yeah, I like how you put that though, of the Foundation being very conservative, because it always strikes me as odd with like any kind of, you know, hide the secrets from the public kind of organization in fiction, of like, where do you draw that line, you know? And that would have to be very conservative.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what most people. I mean, there's a tension with it. A lot of people have this fun idea of the Foundation as like they'll respect your pronouns, but they also will lock you up for the rest of your life in a cell because like you can float a little bit high above the ground. Like it's like that kind of situation.
So they're liberals.
They have pride flags, but also like they will probably kill you.
I'm fucked.
No heart. to the answer, can I get out?
No one's allowed.
Yeah, so okay, so from what you said, it sounded like 3004 was kind of an expansion on that explanation.
I kind of just had to.
Yeah, so
it was for the horror contest.
Okay.
Yeah,
actually,
yes.
it was for the SCP-3000 horror contest. I do not think I did very well because a lot of people like were not raised deeply Catholic and did not. They were like, I don't see the horror in this.
I honestly, I found it pretty scary, mostly just because it was like, you know, I was raised religious, and so
it's a lot.
Okay, so it is a lot, but I was raised religious, and so like in my mind, you can just like believe in something or not believe in something hard enough to kill anything. That's why I was never afraid of like monsters as a kid or whatever. So like a faith eater specifically does strike me as very scary because I don't have the psychology needed to deal with the supernatural.
That's actually something that like the Japanese side of the SCP Foundation is like fascinated with the term I made up, the pistophage thing. How 3004 is a faith eater. But like, isn't that a pretty common trope in Western fiction about gods? I just put a name to it, right? Like that's what happens in American Gods, right? They like have to eat faith.
I was saying,
okay, good, because I couldn't take credit for it, but like I wanted to.
Well, it is very like I was gonna say it's very like how Neil Gaiman does his cosmology.
Exactly. Exactly. And obviously you can see me totally aping American Gods. There's a scene where I'm really, if you've read the book, you can like if you just read the book, or if you're like me and you have a special brain, there's a part where Shadow is like seeing all the gods in all their forms as they've been worshipped throughout the years, like at once. And I describe like the person seeing the Cicada God in that form, like 1,000 different ways at once, all the same time.
Yeah.
Totally stole that from Neil. I'm a thief.
We should really talk about the noun here. The SCP 3004. The titular Cicada God of this episode.
Yes. So it
is Imago.
The Imago, as in Imago Dei, or Imago, the final stage of development of an adult insect. That's a good one.
That's
Look,
pretty good.
Any glimpse at our page will tell you.
Help me with that. A friend of mine was like, "Dog, you got to just call this a single word title." And I was like, "Imago," and they were like, "Hell yeah,
hell yeah." No, we do a lot of puns here. So, the Cicada.
Oh yeah.
Were a very important...
I'm pretty sure that's how you say it.
Yeah, well, that's the pronunciation that you...
that sounds right.
That you yourself wrote in 2017.
This was just...
yeah.
I'm happy that we're telling you your story.
Yeah. So...
The singers.
Yes, the singers. The singers were a...
I like the idea of... I'm sorry for interrupting.
Oh, go ahead.
I just love the idea of playing with... of making up a druidic cult in Ireland. I like it because, like, I'm sure, like, there was, like, a lot of interesting, like, belief in fairies and stuff. But, like, I know nothing about, like, anything else, so I just made one up.
Yeah.
And I also made up a species of cicada for them to worship.
Yes, and you said that people were very mad about... Well, first off, it's a druidic cult. It's not mainstream druidism, so you can kind of make up whatever. But second off...
But, to be honest, I did say that they were pretty mainstream in Ireland.
Yes. So
they were a very popular cult.
They were a popular cult. They were a popular offshoot of druidism. They were a major part of the history of the British Isles. Why don't we remember them? We'll get to that in 1 second.
They got owned.
Yes, okay. We literally got to it in 1 second. That never happens. I'm not sure what to do now. But anyway, so... There are no cicadas in Ireland, as has been pointed out, and people were mad at you about that. And you were like, yeah, not anymore, because of the SCP.
Which is a weird thing for the people on the SCP website to say.
Yeah.
No, this was YouTube comments. Because everyone else was like, okay, that's fine. They made up a species of, because I'm not sure, but I was back then.
Girl, same.
But they made up a species of cicada. That sounds right. That's just what we do. I actually asked an entomologist friend of mine, like, is there anything in, like, the weather of Ireland that, like, means a cicada could not live there?
And they said, oh!
And he said no. And so I was like, all right, fine. They lived there before then. And, like, that was the extent of my research.
A wee bit nippy.
Wee bit nippy for the cicada.
It's apparently fine. Apparently, it's about as cold as Newfoundland. So yeah. I was like, it's a cousin of the Newfoundland cicada, baby. That was my claim.
There you go.
Well, that's just good world building.
Yeah, that's called world building. The stained glass cicada. I even gave it a cool little name. I even gave it a fake Latin name that I can't remember the name of.
Oh, we know all about that. We're the ones that... Oh, Allie's the one that gave a fake Latin name to the Kool-Aid Man.
Which has been changed back.
What?
What? I'm glad we're catching this on air,
God.
But no, they changed it back. I was devastated for a few days about it.
They changed him?
They changed...
Oh, no.
Like 1,000 years ago, before time ever was, we found the Kool-Aid Man's Wikipedia article, and his species was listed as pitcher. And I was like, that's not a fucking species.
He should be like a sponge.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's a whole...
Yeah, it's a whole thing. But I was like, okay, I'm going to come up with Urcaeus frigidauxilium, which literally means pitcher of cool aid, as like a scientific binomial. And
that's funny.
Yeah. And that was on there for years. And someone just changed it back, was like, couldn't find a primary source about this scientific name, so I just changed it back to pitcher. And I wanted to like get in the talk pages and get all huffy about it, and then I was like, wait, there is no primary source. It's me.
Yeah, you made that up.
I did in fact make that up, and it was just something that I made up.
No, but like, think about it. It's like a weird sponge thing with a hard silicate body. It can probably handle a lot of heat. It hangs out during in the geothermal vents, and it like comes out to like give us juice.
Damn, this person SCPs.
It likes the vents.
Counterpoint, Allie. I think we are a primary source.
Okay, if you want to change it back, be my guest.
You should.
I'm gonna learn how to wiki edit because I got some things to say about Keenan and Kel's aliens on there.
I'm gonna learn how to wiki edit.
Oh yeah, me and John, I'm gonna get some notes about how to best handle wiki discourse.
Anyway, so The cicada, the species that you gave the name that you gave this species of cicada, allegedly fictional.
They're the holy animal of the singers.
The holy animal of the singers. Not a lot of insect worship in religious cults, and I think that's
right.
I mean, the mantises are already praying. I've been saying it for years, but Cicadetta luculenta is the scientific.
That sounds right.
Yeah, that's the scientific name you give. Cicadetta being an existing genus. So
yep.
Yeah, so these are stained glass winged cicadas with wings that look kind of like stained glass. And
vaguely, originally they were supposed to look like, I mean, like the original versions. I'm spoiling my own SCP, I guess, but it's like a very subtle coloring. Like it's not like anything cartoonish, but like it's enough that people were like, "Oh, look at that."
Yeah. Oh, that's a little weird.
Yeah,
look at an insect wing too. You see, like the veins going across it. It has it's that
like
kind of
crazy version of that.
Like
they're just like real reflective or some shit. Who knows? Because I don't know.
It's real cool. Not since the yellow spotted lizards of holes have I seen a more compelling fictional creature.
Yeah,
I love those guys.
That's a future Finding Monster Ride episode in the making, I think.
That's such a good book because it's true, based on a true story. And it teaches a lesson
about friendship and digging.
What's the SCP Foundation stance on holes?
They shut that whole shit down once they found out about the lizards.
That's a real god's thumb.
They'd be so weirded out about the peach stuff.
Oh yeah.
All that magic peach stuff. I don't trust that. The union of peach and onion is unnatural and incorrect.
There's a lot of magic in that book.
There is. There's a lot of magic.
There's prophecies.
So
there's corporal punishment.
I remember seeing that movie in theaters, and like as we were walking out of it, there was like a dad of my friend's brother there, and like he clearly did not understand the film, and it was one of the funniest moments of my life. Because it was like one of the first moments I realized that adults could be dumb as shit. Because he was like coming out of that movie just like stunned. It could have been that or Big Fish, to be honest, but it's funnier if I say it's Holes. So we're going with Holes.
Allie.
Yes.
Bring us back.
Okay. Buzz, who's that coming in on this druidic cult? That's right. It's a class 3 pistophage, a giant sort of Lovecraftian, faith-eating, extra-dimensional deity. I should have been more hesitant to say Lovecraftian because we'll get to that. But
because it gets more.
Yeah. So it attaches itself to this cult.
That's the idea.
And kind of takes a cicada-like form.
Or that, like, it just, like, that's the easiest thought frame it could apply itself to begin with.
Yes.
Like, maybe it was vaguely in the idea sphere, like, fly-shaped to begin with. Who knows, really?
It just was kind of bug-shaped, and then, like, it just flew over the whole world looking for, like, the boys and girls of Ireland to give it new life because they believed hard enough in Christmas. And by Christmas, I mean, like, eating each other and crazy stuff.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, most of these rituals that the singers had were very...
They were a little weird.
They were a little bit weird, but pretty normal. Then this guy rolls around and it's like, oh, hey, baby skin time.
Yeah, he loves it. There's this idea I love that... it's in Bloodborne, really, actually. The idea that, like, these kind of outer gods, like, aren't necessarily evil. They're just, like, really dumb. And they're, like, sort of trying to help. But they, like, don't know what they're doing. And they, like, have no capacity to learn.
Me.
But they're, like, still really being like, this is great. I'm, like, a great favorite. This is fantastic. But they're just, like, murdering everybody.
Mm-hmm. And that's what goes down here. It goes oh, cool, yeah, you guys do stuff with the babies, right? Ah, cool, then there goes their skin.
Yeah.
Hey, so you guys have rituals about baby teeth. That's sweet. How about I just make people spit out teeth? Is that what you guys would like? And there's also this idea that the creature is kind of responding to, like, the subjugation of the Irish people of the time. Like, there's, like, this notion that, like, it can't discern the difference between their lives and their beliefs. if you know what I mean.
Oh.
So, like, the hunger and oppression is kind of like the same thing to it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just has very few receptors for these kind of very different, complex human emotions.
Yeah, it's dumb as shit.
So anyway, the kind of precursors in old-timey times to the Foundation being a part of...
I made those up.
Yeah.
Isn't that fun, though? I love getting chances to make stuff up. People are always like, why didn't you use any ones that have been used before? And it's just so much fun to make up, like, the name of, like, some group that will only ever be in one SCP.
Yeah.
Like, to just, like, make a wild claim that, like, this group founded the SCP. I have another SCP that claims that the Foundation was founded after the war in Iraq. Like, I mean, like, that's... like, it's the kind of wild moves I like to make.
I love the idea that the SCP Foundation is, like, 10 years old.
Yeah. Right? Isn't that fun?
Well, it was started in, like, 2013, right? That's when the website went up?
Famously.
Yeah.
People did not like that part. But anyway,
mid Barack Obama's second term.
Yeah.
Decided to go to Iraq.
They just saw Trump draw that on that weather map with a Sharpie, and they were like, we got to do something about this.
This is wrong, guys. This can't be working.
So, anyway, the precursors to the Foundation in the form of a kind of secret order of the Catholic Church and the Anglican Church set out to exterminate the singers for their newly bloodthirsty, kind of corrupted version of these rituals. Because previously they were like a major presence in the British Isles, and then they just got exterminated.
There was wild syncretism.
Wiped out.
A word I can't say right.
Syncretism?
Yeah, is that the word? I said that right? Nice.
Well, the thing is, if you can't pronounce it right, we'll just replace it with the word you already know that's kind of similar. Saint syncretism.
They took a dry erase marker eraser to all of them across the aisle.
Yes, and also wiped out all of the stained glass winged cicadas, and then there was like nothing directly worshipping the Imago, and
was a little confused.
It was a little confused, tired,
and sleepy,
as a cicada does.
Sleepy baby.
Oh, poor baby went to sleep.
And actually, the part that's like next, I like wrote this real stuffy report.
This is crazy because I also was raised Catholic, have a background in entomology and in astral projection and
that's fun.
Meditation like that. Yeah. So this was very much my shit.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
I made up most of it. I apologize. None of that was based in a lot of research, and I hope it didn't disappoint.
You did a fine job, I would say.
Aw.
Yeah.
That's the fun thing about fiction. You can kind of go as deep as you want.
Anyway,
whatever you want.
So the SCP Foundation and its precursors put Imago to sleep via this extermination. They write this big, cocky, like, dragging their dick around the gates of Troy, just like, at last we have put down the great beast, and the world can be at peace thanks to me, the king of the world, Frank.
But whoopsie daisy, that's not the case.
Yeah, because the cicadas that Cousin Johnny throws up at all these weddings and baptisms and stuff, they are kind of wooden and glass artifices of the now extinct stained glass cicada. Whoa, looks like we've got a connection on our hands. But the SCP is like, no, we killed that dead and it was good and it was easy.
It's a different cicada wood guy.
Yeah.
SCP-3004-2.
Anyway, recently Cousin Johnny sort of incidences have gone way down. Basically done. Stopped. And instead, there's all this crazy cicada shit.
Mm-hmm.
And they're pretty.
Very pretty, very crazy cicada shit. It's even worse now. Shit is bad.
So it's time to astral project and find out what's going on.
Yes.
I love that. That's like the most ridiculous... I guess it can't be a Deus Ex Machina since like it's not like saving anything, but it's just like the most ridiculous contrivance. I was like, by the way, They know how to go into the exoplane.
It's kind of your like Armageddon response to the asteroid that's traveling here.
It's just like, by the way, we know how to do that. We're gonna drill.
Yeah, we're gonna get some oil riggers together.
We're gonna get our best drug dudes to go talk to this ancient god and hope for the best.
Here's the thing, it's not more ridiculous than the concept of there being any anomalies at all, and so it's fine.
That's true.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, like, it's not more ridiculous.
The bar to entry is so low that astral projection hops right over.
That's like if you're watching Star Wars and it's like, hold up. This alien has 2 left hands? That's crazy.
That's a weird alien. I don't know how that culture would even work, guys.
This one looks like a werewolf costume, and that one looks like a devil costume. I guess there's aliens.
How would the 2 left-hand people even invent scissors? Can't invent the hyperdrive like that.
Dude, they'd be screwed.
Adam, that was a joke for you.
Thanks.
You're welcome. So, why don't you walk us through it? This tripping out kind of scene where you where the guy projects into the dimension. He goes in the dimension. There's a bug.
Yeah, it's the Cicada God. Still there.
It's a big bug.
So big. So much bigger, so much impossibly psychic damagingly like scarier.
Yeah, there was like a lot of claims in the prior documentation that like obviously the Cicada God is just like one of like an ecosystem.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like probably not gonna be everything there is, but like they were like wrong.
Yeah.
And it's hinted that the Cicada God maybe ate God.
Maybe ate the Christian capital G God.
A little bit maybe ate God.
Or a that's me, right? That's who everyone's praying to.
Yeah, but basically the idea is that there was that like the syncretism of the Kate Laggy and Catholicism like affected it enough that like without food for so long, it just started to think of itself as purely the Abrahamic God. Mm-hmm. It like doesn't see the difference anymore. And it also sees its period of death sleep as like more cicada-like than before, which like isn't really good logic, but you can't argue with a giant monster god. You just got to nod.
Yeah.
Yes. So fully sunk up with the prayers of the Catholics.
Yeah, and it's all like a bunch of crazy like, images of like the image of a cicada on a like pinned to a cross is very much
people love that one. That's like all the fan art is of that.
No, that's perfect iconography, honestly.
Oh, I love it too.
No, it's good.
No. I need to do that next time I'm pinning an insect specimen. Just like
you should.
Yeah.
Yeah, be a little weird about it.
Ooh, little creepy, little disrespectful.
That's
what
you got to do.
I worked with a guy, much older, more experienced entomologist, who was actually published and actually deserves to call himself an entomologist. But he was vegan, and he said that pinning and preserving specimens was his way of making them immortal.
Did it work?
In a sense, I mean, there's a butterfly at the museum that I worked at that was from that was pinned in Italy in like the 1500s. So,
yeah,
how's it doing?
Pretty well actually. She just got married.
I'm glad it's okay.
Yeah,
in there.
So,
well,
anyway,
yeah.
So that's about where we have left off with SCP-3004 and all its associated kind of paraphernalia and stuff. And do not worry, 46 minutes into a recording, when we get to the point of the episode, is very much our brand.
And the premise of this is that how do you deal with that big old cicada god?
I know how the Foundation does.
Oh, true. Yeah.
They have a very intense final plan.
A very intense final plan that involves throwing a Roman Catholic reality warper to this group of reality bending machines called the Lions that will wipe all of Christianity out of the historical record. And then I guess maybe because it didn't work the first time.
They're really hoping it starts it out. They're really hoping that it doesn't think it's all Abrahamic gods. They're like really hoping it doesn't know what Jewish is. They're just like so hopeful it like has never seen a Muslim. They're just like, this has got to work.
Yeah, it's their equivalent of killing John Connor as a baby.
So, anyway, if Protocol Damnatio ad Bestias doesn't work, and there's no reason on Earth to think that it will.
No, absolutely none.
Size of reaction does not equal efficacy of reaction.
It feels like a good idea at the time when you're desperate, but like, it's definitely a desperation move of like a flailing, terrified Foundation.
Yeah.
Which is like my favorite thing to write. Just like the weird desperation last moves.
Anyway, it set me off on like a 3 a.m. like spiral of like, so how do we destroy it? Like, how do we stop Imago and stuff and blah, blah, blah. And I was talking about it with Adam when we were workshopping like what we were going to do for this episode. And I was like, I don't know why I am so stuck on this and why I can't think of a way to destroy it. And Adam was like, Allie, the reason why is that you're off message. What do we do at Finding Monster Right? Do we destroy monsters? No. We take out our pieces of string and our beads and we make some friendship bracelets.
That's cute.
Yeah. It's like, in a D&D encounter, you should be able to talk out things. You should be able to befriend.
Yeah, this giant cicada god that's like asking people to castrate each other in church is like definitely the friendship that you want to make.
Yeah, that's what the cicada god thinks we want.
We make friends with monsters, sometimes with benefits.
Sometimes.
Yes. So, what's some good old friendship moves that we can try out with the cicada god?
Yeah.
Friendship bracelets. For some reason, my thoughts go to making friends at camp.
Because that's the last time you made a friend.
Camp sounded like some lame shit. I never went to that. It's a lot outside, a lot of forced friendship. I'm not a fan. I was never a fan. I was a weird kid.
Yeah. So I'm thinking like, hopping in the pool together.
Okay, that works.
Okay, yeah. Well, what if the pool was like inner space?
Yeah. I think part of the reason that the cicada god has kind of fallen into this echo chamber that's led it to see itself as this as the Abrahamic god is that where he's hanging out right now just there ain't nothing there. So it's like listen, since we can just throw astral projection onto this, why not astrally send some other fun stuff there?
Maybe you could teach it other stuff. See, but the idea, the error there is it's kind of like a dumb kid.
Yes.
In that it's really only looking at what it wants to see. If you know what I mean.
Oh.
Like, yes. I think it's like picking through everything and picking out the most interesting parts.
And I think like a dumb kid, we can trick it like into another bedtime with some games. Have it kind of like run around the yard for a bit.
That's the method. That's the real method. Have it run around the yard for a bit. It's really funny.
Yeah. Playing some dodgeball.
Trick it into becoming a dog.
That's it. That's some Puss in Boots moves, isn't it?
Yeah, right.
So I have 2 ideas for what to do in case the friendship doesn't work out. I did come
in case friendship is not magic.
In case it doesn't.
In case it doesn't.
Okay.
Now, like, first off, it wants to be eaten, right? Because,
I'm sure it does.
Yeah, because that seems very Catholic. This is my body, which will be given up for you. And then, like...
Allie, can I guess what the second thing that you're going to propose is?
What's the second thing that I'm going to propose?
Well, cicadas, in real life, when they come out of the ground and they start shouting, they kind of only want one thing, right?
To die.
Well,
before that...
I can't imagine anything else.
To bone, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yes, cicada, it's a kind of, they're ready to start the next brood.
All right, well, that's not where... Okay, so, number 1, believe it or not...
You're gonna make it a girlfriend.
Believe it or not where I was going with this, but...
I can't believe you were not going with that. That's how we go with every monster.
Okay.
Yes, I was gonna propose a Mary Magdalene of sorts.
Interesting. Okay, I'm into this, but like I'm in Demon's Bane mode right now. Like,
Okay, let's see where you're going with this.
so I have a book, the Eat a Bug Cookbook Revised Edition by David George Gordon that I got in 2013. It does have a recipe for periodical cicada pizza. It does.
That's cute.
I've been reading for the last 11 years. The line, "I can't wait for the next major emergence of this delicious substitute for sliced andouille sausage sometime in the summer of 2024. And now it is that.
Wow.
There's a recipe that involves just like kind of making a regular pizza, and then step 8 is like, drain the sundry tomatoes, reserving the oil, coarsely chop the sundry tomatoes and the artichoke hearts, then artfully arrange the 2 items over the cheese, top the pizza with cicadas."
That's gross.
It's delicious.
I'm such a baby. I can't eat bugs. They look like little monsters, and they'll come to life in my stomach.
What about shrimp?
I also won't eat that. I'm at least consistent.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Step 10 is wait 13 to 17 years and repeat.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. This honestly looks like really good pizza. I won't be in the region where the broods will be emerging, though. They're not going to be in Philly, so.
So, Allie, you brought up this book once before in our past, when we found out like roaches in my apartment.
Oh yeah.
It's come up a lot. This book. This is like a favorite of the podcast. This book.
No, it is definitely not. Our favorite book is the Bigfoot Observer's Field Manual by Robert W. Morgan.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Have you guys?
Second favorite's by Charity of the Gods guy. But
oh, that guy's funny as hell. Have you guys read the? You probably have. This is completely off topic, but the stuff about the missing 451 or whatever it is. Have you seen that stuff?
Haven't.
No.
Okay, listen to this. There's this guy that writes these pretty interesting and well-researched like case studies of fucked up disappearances that happen in like national parks and stuff. And like they're all pretty compelling. All of them actually happened. And like they're all like researched very well. And then as you keep reading, you come to a realization that the man thinks that the cause of it is Bigfoot.
That's pretty cool.
He thinks Bigfoot is kidnapping all those people.
I love the read of Bigfoot as the villain in these tales.
Yeah, Bigfoot is like the Big Feet are a bunch of just like rampaging child kidnappers, I guess, is what they do. And they love folding clothes. That's like their other favorite thing. They love that. They fucking love folding clothes and leaving it on rocks.
That's like a couple sharp teeth away from all like the traits of a vampire, I'm telling you.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Sorry, I love that guy so much. I was watching a documentary like about him and I was like realizing like something feels a little off here. And I looked it up and it was like, oh, he thinks Bigfoot did it. Okay.
Wow. So what I was building to there was that we struggled to encounter the cockroaches to eat because we didn't know what kind of stuff was already in their system.
I'm sure it's fine.
Yes.
So
yeah. Well,
I have concerns about snacking on the cicada.
Well, what
do they eat? They're fine.
Well.
Faith?
What do they eat? I don't know. The faith of Catholics for centuries.
They eat
apparently testicles. I guess based on that one part.
That's yeah. It gets very. This is my third SCP.
It's rough. There's no because like I was like, oh, this got to go big to win the horror contest. I have to go as crazy as possible. I have to have a woman give birth to a dead child with a wooden crown. This is the only way I can win. And you'd be surprised that did not work.
That's a good formula to victory, though.
I love that sentence out of context. Like, I just... Speaking of astral projection.
What was your reaction to that, Allie? What, my thoughts on the don't eat the cicada god?
Yes. So, what if we put something inside it?
What?
Just gonna let that sit for a second. So,
Like feed it?
no.
What?
So,
Oh.
not that either. Well, sort of.
Oh,
Let me
like-
explain.
Okay, please.
Seatbelts, everyone.
I'm ready.
The picture that I just posted in the Discord is of a specimen that I collected in my parents' garage in about I think it was 2020. And in the background, blurry, is a picture. So my roommate last year just brought in this cicada.
Oh, look at him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my roommate last year just brought in the cicada and was like, oh, yo, it's dead. Check it out. And we were like, whatever. I was like, wait 1 second. I take a pin, like the kind that you use to pin an insect, and I pull on its tarsal claws on the toes on the leg. And it pulls back. It reacts. And I'm like, this thing is still alive. Charles Darwin said of the Ichneumonidae wasps, I own that I cannot see as plainly as others do, and as I should wish to do, evidence of design and beneficence on all sides of us. There seems to me too much misery in the world. I cannot persuade myself that a beneficent and omnipotent God would have designedly created the Ichneumonidae with the express intention of their feeding within the living bodies of caterpillars, or that a cat should play with mice. This cicada that my roommate brought in was a victim of a wasp, much like the one I posted on the Discord.
Oh, that's so cool.
Sphekius speciosus, the eastern cicada killer.
Ooh.
Yes.
I
Yes.
propose.
Well, that's what we got to do.
I
A
propose
new religion.
creating a bug sona and identifying with it so strong that you can astral project in that form, which is something I have done in my astral wanderings and such, in my meditations and stuff. I find it very therapeutic.
I have a fantastic idea to riff off this, by the way.
We go into the Cicada God's
Oh, I got
dimension, we sting it, we paralyze it, we
You're
fill it
genius.
with our wasp babies, let the little children come to it. Take
Oh,
and
you're
eat.
genius.
This is my body, which
Yeah,
will be
you're
given
genius.
up for you.
We could have a bunch of people doing that if we just make it a cult.
Yes. Good. This is how we win.
New cult. Eat old cult.
Yeah, I think that that's actually something that they would do, that an SCP writer would absolutely love to come up with.
An army of astral projecting wasp.
Making a new, better cult.
Making a new, better cult that might impregnate the Cicada God with a bunch of psychic wasp larvae, and then we have to deal with a bunch of small wasp demons instead of one big Cicada God. Will this work? It is not. It maybe.
What would you rather deal with?
100 one horse-sized cicada, or 100
duck-sized
wasps.
horses.
The Cicada God is a little bit radioactive, though, so like it's got that going. It's got a passive aura, because I think fantasy radiation is awesome. I love the shit. I love whenever there's like obvious radiation poisoning in a fantasy novel, but they call it something else.
Oh yeah.
Like that shit goes so hard to me. Like in the Song of Ice and Fire books, like whenever they talk about Valeria, you just know that shit is radioactive as fuck, dog. You just know it.
Yeah. Aragon, same thing.
Oh yeah.
The First Law has a book where something like that goes down, and it's pretty amazing.
I just love the idea of just something that just gives off horrifying rays of death. Oh, actually, this is something I wanted to bring up before, but I forgot to. The reason I wrote this book is because of a vampire erotica.
Oh yes.
The reason I wrote this SCP.
Yeah, you mentioned this.
There's a vampire erotica I read. Jesus Christ, I did not write it. It is called The Dripping of Sundered Wineskins by Brian Hodge. And it was collected in this book of just vampire horror. And I remember there was like the Neil Gaiman story about like the Harlequin that like feeds its heart to the girl. If you've ever read that short story, it's pretty good. It's fine. But there was also this story called The Dripping of Sundered Wineskins. And it was very much not what an 8-year-old or 10-year-old should have been reading. Because, well, for one thing, it was very much vampire erotica. But it's about this Catholic schoolboy who lives in Northern Ireland who, like, narrowly misses, like, dying in, like, some bombing during the Troubles. And, like, he gets, like, stigmata all the time. So, of course, he joins, like, the fucking church. And, like, he gets, like, this crazy fucking faith thing where, like, he kind of loses it. And blah, blah, blah. He ends up meeting 3 magic vampire sisters. And one eats flesh, one drinks blood, and the other drinks sperm. Because why not? I guess it's real weird about that.
Yeah.
Tag yourself. I'm the blood one.
There's all this stuff about how, like, they're like this, like, forbidden trinity, and, like, they're, like, in opposition to God. And there's all this wild stuff about, like God actually having been, like, this like low-level demon that, like, they tried to summon that they lost control of. There's this idea, like, stated in the story that, like, God is like an angry little boy that likes making sand castles and watching the tides take them away. And that fucked me up.
Wow.
As a kid, the idea that, like, you could accidentally be worshiping something that hates you.
Huh.
Or, like, is indifferent.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was raised by my dad.
It's rough. It's a rough thing being Catholic. But yeah, the story was real horny and weird, but, like, it had some great image. Sorry, I interrupted.
No, that
No
was
worries.
the bit.
That sounds good.
Oh, I
And yeah,
that was it.
I like the idea of the astral projecting cicada killers way better than my idea of making a sexy lady Bugs Bunny cicada.
I mean,
Ooh.
it could work though.
That might be better, actually.
Yeah,
I mean, the Bugs
but
Bunny cicada could work. That would have worked for Frankenstein's monster if she would have just kept her chill for a second.
Yeah, sometimes it's one of the inherent flaws of the form of a cicada. A, can be killed by a cicada killer. B, is really horny and will go to sleep after it has its time.
You know, I wonder if it is horny. Because, like, it is a cicada, but it's also been fucked up by so much Christianity. Like, imagine how weird its views on sex are. Because it's not even human.
There's that repressed schoolgirl energy radiating off of it.
I would need to...
Yeah, like, it's not bright.
I would need to read how cicadas' mating rituals go, but, I mean, they don't engage in sexual cannibalism. I mean, for God's sakes, their mouth parts are like a proboscis, and they eat plant sap. But
oh, yeah, they don't look scary mouth.
No, they have a big, funny straw mouth, and it's very cute. But... It's like, hey, I don't know about that.
No, I my response to that is from this article that I pulled up from the New York Times called "The Sex Lives of Cicadas Revealed."
Oh wait,
it's a very erotic picture that they have.
Oh, I see. Wasn't there a thing going around about this most recent brood emergence about like the fungus that replaces your butt and turns you into a femboy if you're a cicada?
That's funny.
I scrolled down 7/8 of the page, and yep, I see a fungus on the butt.
Yep.
That sounds awesome.
On a femboy cicada.
That's awesome.
You also die.
I like fungus now.
Yeah.
It is like...
I think I'm okay with fungus.
Like, what if The Last of Us happens, but it's just... What if the porn parody of The Last of Us happens in real life?
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm surprised that is not a topic of one yet.
What if a fungus replaced our butts and we were both cicadas and we were both girls?
Okay, I think it's time to take SCP-3004.
You have to hold down my wings to repopulate the hive.
Oh my god, I love that. That's my favorite. That's like my favorite tweet of all time.
All right, let's go to the final rating place and put this cicada back in the ground.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it lives.
So, John, this is the part where we give a out of 10 rating to the Cicada God, the SCP of the week. Since the creator is here with us,
I don't care. You can give it whatever rating you want. It's fine.
I think that's clearly not true.
Yeah, I don't mind.
I'm inclined to give the Cicada God a 10 out of 10.
I feel like I'm doing great enough. I don't mind.
I am going to give the Cicada God a 13 out of 17.
Go fuck yourself.
I intend to.
Isn't that funny? See, I was hoping that one of you would say something other than 10 out of 10 so I could say go fuck
No,
yourself. And I'm really
was a good
happy
move.
that you did.
I
Thank
went
you.
with 13 out of 17 because...
Yeah, I know. That was clever.
Yeah. Well, there's
13 out of 17 times. That's what happens to me.
Well, there's 13 year cicadas and 17-year cicadas, and those are both prime numbers.
Ooh.
And they're prime. They're like that because they are, first off, a long enough life cycle that it's not like 3 or 5. Like most predators of cicadas don't live for 13 to 17 years in the wild. Like birds and stuff don't live that long. And the reason why it's prime numbers, like if it were 12-year, then it could sync up with organisms that have like a 2-year or a 6-year life cycle. Because they're prime numbers, they don't sync up with any smaller life cycles. So it's an anti-predator thing.
It's fucked up that they know how to do math.
They do know how to do math. They've got their little abacuses in there, and they're like, "Oh man, just 17,
they're doing family planning down there.
Just 8 more years until we can have until we can fly up onto the sky, fuck, and eat God."
They're doing the rhythm method down there.
So, John, what would you rate the Cicada God out of 10?
To be honest, it's not my. It's not the legacy I'd wish to have on the wiki, but it's what I did. I'm stuck with it forever. No, I like it. I think it's funny. I love writing about weird religious horror because every Zoomer who's like super into Gamers Against Weed probably has no idea that I also wrote like the gross creepypasta man. that like Meat Canyon does video of or something.
There's like 1,000 of those like reaction videos. I think mostly based around the fact that it's like a very good image of like the cicada on the cross. It's like easy for the thumbnail.
Yeah.
You don't. I don't get shit from that. I barely even get upvotes. Like it is like like 500,000 views on a Meat Canyon video about Cousin Johnny gave me +6 upvotes. That is what 500,000 YouTube views equal to me. And by the way,
no.
SCP upvotes, they aren't even real. I'm not getting anything from these upvotes. So like even then, it's a nothing of a nothing.
Well, we hope that we were able to provide enough flowers for you during this occasion.
No, isn't it fun? Isn't it funny to hear complaints directly from someone?
Oh yeah,
it's a little different vibe, maybe.
Alia, I think this might be an episode for the books.
I think so.
The bad books.
The bugs, even.
Well, thank you, John, so much for joining us and unveiling your creations, helping us get our feet wet in the world of SCPs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's I actually totally have recommendations for stuff you should read next. Like actually,
sure.
There's a really. I'm just going to openly talk about it now because I don't care. There's a SCP that's kind of based on Cousin Johnny that someone wrote that has done way better than Cousin Johnny. And no, I'm not bitter. It's no, because it actually is better. It's the Yule Man. The Yule Man. Like Christmas.
Yeah.
Oh, it's horrific. It has a really good indecipherable logic of like the weird pagan rites that this thing might be doing. You should look into that. And there's also a really good, this isn't exactly a monster, though, this one I'm about to say, but it's just good. Your readers should read it. It's called The War to End All Wars. It's a World War I SCP. I believe it's SCP-186. It's fucking amazing. It's about an anomalous World War I battle.
Excellent.
Just like, and it's like kind of like an indictment of like the philosophy that like did World War I. It's like a battle full of atrocities so bad that like the people who were making these weapons were like, surely this will stop all war. Like it's like gas that makes you like unable to be killed. Like people with like their heads blown off still screaming and stuff like that. Oh, it's so scary. It's great.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
It's a great SCP.
Now,
And the Yule Man alley, I think, might be a great revisit.
No, the Yule Man is really something that you guys should
Christmas
actually
time.
look into, because that's very popular. 4666. Yeah, 4666. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was, I believe, for the 4,000 contest. It's not very historical, but who really gives a shit? But that was the topic. It's really good, though. It has a great indecipherable logic, and it's a little more personal and scary. There's like a little interview in it too. Yeah, it's good.
Well, yeah, come Christmas time, I think that's a winning topic.
Yeah, by Hercules Rockefeller.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
I love SCP writer names.
If I had one, what do you think it should be? Does it work like code names?
Dark Diary.
Dark Diary is good.
No, it's you usually go with like almost the nerdiest try-hard reference you can make. Like Kinchtheknifeblade. Kinchtheknifeblade is something from Ulysses. It's something a character keeps calling somebody in Ulysses, and I think it's real funny. It's calling somebody. It's like being called an edgy little boy.
Yeah, I think my name would be Sylvester Zamboni.
That's a good one. That's a good one. No, that's a real good one. That's top tier.
If I went full like edgelord with it and went with like Dark Demon's Bane, let's just say,
that would be so funny.
Good. Okay.
But it's taken.
Hush.
That's like a classic. That's a classic one. That's like what the old guard would have. You're talking about Dark Demon's Bane.
I want to be that thing, that old meme I sent you earlier, Allie. I want to be Blood Edge the Griffin.
Oh, yeah.
You should do Abel and the Hard Destroy Reptile also. Even though those are real cliche, you should do like you should do the classics maybe. You should do an episode of just the classic ones that you can just breeze through and talk about which ones you'd fuck or whatever.
Yeah, that sounds right. But no, 682 is one of my longtime favorites for sure.
Yeah, like the Shy Guy and stuff. I don't know why I'm giving you ideas like I know anything about podcasts, but
You'll listen to a couple episodes. That counts. Yeah.
You caught on just fine, don't worry.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've been on podcasts, but not...
Including this one.
Yeah, including this one.
Well, all podcasts, if you must know, have to come to an end. So...
No.
A final thanks, and you
can
talk to... Yeah. You can talk to a lot of us on Discord.
Oh, man. I just kept going, baby.
That's good. That's content. That's content, and every view on here will give you 1/12 of 1/6 of one upvote.
Yeah. One like little like quark of an upvote.
So farewell, everyone. I hope there's no cicadas in your sleep tonight.
Bye.
Well, time to go back to sleep for another 17 years. The next episode is going to happen 17 years from now.